What up, Hogs? Welcome back to another one. Hey, keeping the intro short and sweet today. This is going to be an episode just for the fans, just for the longtime supporters of the show. But, we're making it free. We're doing a Q&A episode today. It's been a little while since our last one. It was like over almost 15 episodes ago. So, some of these are going to go back quite a few months. But, hey, I think it'll be a good time. Before all that, though, we've got some special announcements and our usual plugs, so take it away, Dave.
Yeah, so first and foremost, join our Discord. There are cool people in here. After our last episode, we got some even more cool people who have joined our Discord, and the merry band of miscreants that are in there. You won't be disappointed. It's a great place.
I'm slowly learning the art of search engine optimization with our episode titles, maybe.
Yeah, I mean, maybe. You never know what gets you blessed on the algorithm or whatever. But yeah, sure. I mean, welcome to all the new people, and you could be one of those new people, and we'll accept you with open arms like your family never did. So open
arms and free estrogen.
Yeah, for sure. And and in that Discord, we have a Q&A channel, where you can ask us all the burning questions that you have inside of you, and we answer them once in a while on an episode, and this episode is one of them. So, shit, I mean, get in there, get involved, and your life will be enriched for forever if that happens. And then on top of that, we also have a Patreon. That is patreon.com/superdespairworld, where you can join for free or donate a sinister $6 for access to some bonus episodes, which we usually do one a week on top of our normal episode. But also we have a very special announcement here. Is we're dropping something very, very special, something to we need to get America back on track here. So we are rolling out Project $20, which is a $20 Patreon membership, or whatever you want to call it. And with this, you get not only access to those aforementioned bonus episodes, but you also get every month 2 stickers with amazing, beautiful, unique episode art of our choosing, mailed to you by the Pony Express every month. And I mean, if that's not a good reason to give $20, I don't know what it is. And we can help America heal together. Just by signing up for the Patreon. So look out for that coming soon. And for anybody who decides that they want to hop in on that motherfucker, just in advance, thank you. And I love you, personally.
Hell yeah. Thank you guys so much for your support up till now and going forward. I'm really hyped to get these stickers out there. We've kind of been talking about it in the bonus episodes for a little while every time we talk shop. For October, we're going to dish out some very spooky, kind of more on the horrific side stickers based on some past episode art. And I don't think I've talked about this yet, but I've recently adjusted my little Procreate template for when I do the art. So in addition to some of the regular episode banners, we're gonna have some bigger art, some more full-sized, full image, whatever. Look forward to it. We'll probably maybe do a YouTube short or something. We'll definitely talk about it in the Discord. Yeah, I think that's everything. Let's get right into these questions.
Let's get the fuck going on these questions. It's been a while, so
it's been a while. Yeah. So I think we alternated last time. So do you want to go first, or should I go first?
Well, you go first.
All right. Fuck yeah. Okay. First question. Some of these go back quite a few months, but I think we're probably good on timeliness. I don't know. First question is from our boy FNL. We did a great guest episode with him, by the way. Check it out.
Check that out for sure.
That was a really good one. So FNL, he asked, for the next one, any album/songs of the year so far?
Okay. Well, I'll say that I am enjoying the new Magdalena Bay album, Imaginal Disc. I'm glad to see. I see it as a Brat competitor, and you know I'm on team Magdalena personally. I think this album is cool, and I think Brat is mid. Come at me, bros. We're already losing.
Brat Summer is over by now.
Yeah, Brat Summer is over. Get over it. It's Magdalena Bay fall. So get with the times, you damn kids.
I kind of missed the entire boat on the whole brat thing. I just know like the word brat was appearing everywhere on my Twitter feed for a couple weeks, and like I only know of that in like the sexual context. So like, is it that sort of thing, or does it like mean something else?
No, it's just like the album was popular, so people have to like make it a big thing and just say the word over and over. I think we kind of that kind of is over at this point. I think maybe I don't know.
Yeah, I think yeah, like we said, Brat Summer is over. As for me, I will admit I don't really keep on top of new music releases too often. I'm very much the sort of person that's like once or twice a year I will look up a band I already like on YouTube and be like, oh shit, they released a new thing like a year ago. But this year I do want to give a little shout out. Some of you might know the electronic artist of some controversy, Sewer Slut. Sewer Slut is back recently as Synthony, Cynthoni. They do some really good what's it called, the genre, breakcore, whatever. It's a pretty cool little electronic music project. They have a little bit of a history, but I think their music is great. I think you should check it out. I've been really enjoying all the new stuff they've kind of been drip feeding onto YouTube lately. So
yeah, I mean, honestly, I fuck with their music. I've heard conflicting things about the whole controversy behind them. I'm not really well versed in that. If they are actually a piece of shit, then obviously I renounce that.
Should I attempt to like fast track, like explain the controversy a little bit?
Yeah, because the listeners might be curious.
So if I remember right, and again, feel free to correct me in the comments if I fuck any of this up. Sewer Slut, Synthony, aka Sewer Slut, whatever. They started as like a music producer on 4chan. They originally put out some music under the name Sad Boy Sheldon, which I did not listen to because it was not good. It was very like 4chan. It was like very like there are just like it's just electronic music with full of slurs and like questionable young people anime art. It was just like edgelord bullshit. And then they kind of continued a lot of that as like Sewer Slut, which again, it's kind of like they're a very edgy sort of artist. I think the name Sewer Slut came from this case of like a dead teenager that was found like in a gutter or like a storm drain somewhere in Japan, something like that. There's a lot of like things I've heard about this person, and like they've lived a very difficult, like traumatic sort of life, which I'm not gonna like air out here on the internet, but from what I understand, a lot of the like really like dark edgelord kind of stuff was them making music about like their own traumatic experiences or whatever, which like I don't know, you're free to have your own opinion on that or something, but from what I can tell, they did like renounce a lot of that stuff, and it seems like they're still a bit on the dark and edgy side these days, but I think they're I don't know, I look at the stuff that Sewer Slut puts out, and I don't get the impression like, oh, this person is like making the world worse, this person has like shitty politics or whatever. I do think they're just genuinely a little bit of an edgelord, but I like their music, so whatever.
Yeah. I mean, people can also grow and change. They can sit their white ass down and listen. So
yeah, when I talk about the Sad Boy Sheldon stuff on 4chan, I think that was like at least a decade ago. I don't know. They took some time off of the internet after Sewer Slut ended a couple years back, and now they're just back under this new project. I don't know. Like what's the solution people here want? Is it like, if you fucked up, you should like never be allowed to publish music onto the internet ever again? I don't know. I don't really have super strong feelings about this whole thing. It's just like, I don't know. This person is my problematic fave as far as like musicians go, I guess.
Yeah, fair enough. Fair enough.
Right. Okay. Let's go on to the next question then. Dave, it's your turn.
Oh, my bad. Okay, this one's from Shalom Guy. Who of us are you placing in the panopticon?
Okay, so when he says place in the panopticon, is that like as the position of the prisoner or the person like viewing everybody in the middle? That's what I want to know.
That's a good question.
Because I would place literally every one of our viewers in the prison cells just so I can observe them or not observe them at any time.
Yeah. There's nobody I can pick, like specifically, but Shalom asked the question, so
that's as good
you're
as
going in there first.
Yeah, that's as good as a volunteer to me.
Yeah, honestly, I think you're going in there, and then you can pick 5 of your friends to go in there as well. Yeah, and you could say double the panopticon or give it to the next person.
Exactly.
Yeah.
All right. Next one. This is from our boy Heresy. He asks, "You're in a sci-fi horror movie. Do you prefer to be trapped on a spaceship, a la Alien, or you're trapped at the bottom of the ocean, like Deep Star 6?" I know what I'm picking.
That's a good question. Spaceship for sure. Mostly because, well, first of all, spaceships are cool. And also, I don't really fuck with the ocean, honestly.
No,
yeah.
People were not meant to be down there.
People weren't meant to be in space either, to be fair. But the thing is, like, if in space, you know, you need to be separated from space and have oxygen and all that type of shit. But like, space isn't going to crush the vessel that you're in like the deep ocean would. Yeah, and if like watching like a submarine movie and it's just like, oh, we went like too deep and there's too many atmospheres of pressure, so yeah, so the fucking entire vessel is just like collapsing into itself.
It was like a week or two ago. I got into a YouTube rabbit hole at like 3 a.m, and I was watching videos where people made like a 3D simulation of that submarine with all the billionaires on it, and I was like, here's what happens to the human body in like super slow motion at that depth pressure, and it's like you just become like a fine red paste in like microseconds.
Yeah, but honestly, that's probably a better way to go than getting like sucked out of an airlock, because it's I forget the exact specifics of what happens when you go into space, but it's really weird, like because of the vacuum and the pressure, like all of the moisture in your body like boils instantly, and then you like just kind of like freeze afterwards. So I mean, that would suck. That's probably not as instant, but it's still like, I feel like you're a little bit safer in a spaceship than in the bottom of the ocean, personally.
Yeah, I don't know. I lean more towards the spaceship side because, one, if I'm in a horror movie, like, I would scream like a little bitch, and in space no one can hear me scream. So that's nice. That works out in my benefit. Also, it says it's a horror movie, so I think we've just been assuming, like, oh, okay, something goes wrong with, like, the vessel we're in or whatever. I think I would rather take my chances fighting, like, a fucked up alien rather than, like, a fucked up sea creature or whatever, you know?
Yeah. Sea creatures are more real. Like, they exist. They're
a little,
fucked up. Yeah.
To me, sea creatures are a little more alien than actual aliens in some weird way.
Without question, yeah. If you've seen any of the, like, freakish beasts that we've documented that live in like the deep ocean, like they're fucking horrifying, man. They're fucking horrifying. It makes me wonder sometimes, like, if the legends of like Kraken and shit like that were, I mean, maybe one of these just fucking freakish creatures just kind of surfaced and just started fucking shit up.
I
You
mean,
never
yeah,
know.
if fucking like Lars the Viking or whatever sails like 500 miles out to sea and comes back and he says he saw some fucked up shit, like who's gonna discount him, right?
Yeah, exactly. And they could all just be hallucinating from scurvy or whatever, but and like neurosyphilis from like banging people in like the West Indies, but you know, who could know?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure a lot of the myths around like dragons and shit came about from like medieval peasants just finding like dinosaur bones or some shit too. So
Yeah, who knows?
I think the last thing I'll say is like, okay, we established like, okay, if you get like sucked out in airlock, you're dead. If you get like crushed by water pressure, you're dead. But like, what if it happens more slowly, right? Like I think about being at the bottom of the ocean. What if there's just like a tiny little leak or something, and you're just gonna slowly drown? I've heard drowning is like one of the worst ways to go.
That's gotta be shitty. Yeah. Rip to all who have drowned. Sorry you went out like that, or I'm glad, depending on how cool you were.
Yeah, it's not good. Shout out to the guy who created the Yu-Gi-Oh card game. He drowned at sea, like saving some people who fell off a boat.
Really?
Yeah, that was like a couple years ago.
No shit. Well, fucking, that's a true hero right there. Hats off to you.
Yeah, for real. Pour one out. I think we're good on that question.
Yeah. Yes. All right. The next one is from Shalom Guy. Nier Automata Son or Metal Gear Rising: Revengeance Daughter.
That's a hard pick because I do like both of these games, although I do think the MGR daughter would just be a little bit funnier in a lot of ways. So
Yeah, I've only actually I know Nier's a good game. It's been recommended to me by a bunch of people. I've only played the Metal Gear game, so I'm saying MGR daughter. Heart sending it. Final answer.
I know that there are like male robots in or androids or whatever in Nier Automata, but also the idea of like a femboy Nier Automata son who's just like dressed up like 2B is also very funny to me. I don't know. I like both of these games. There's fuck, I feel bad because I forget the username, but there's an artist I follow on Twitter who just does nothing but art of the girl from Nier Automata and the guy from MGR, and it's like they're friends and they peg each other or whatever. I don't know.
Oh, I wonder if this was the thing that that inspired our dear sweet Shalom Guy to ask this question. Shalom, tell us in the Discord or the comments or whatever.
If not for some unfortunate changes to Twitter, I would be scrolling through those likes to get my answer. All right. Next question we've got. This is a question from Heresy. He asks, God comes to you and says that you have the power to make one activity heretical. What activity would you deem blasphemous?
Oh man, I mean, there's so many. This is such a deep question. Do you have one off the bat?
I think I could probably get a different answer if I sat down and thought about this for half an hour. But
yeah,
the one that just like immediately jumped to my mind to like off rip is marketing. Fuck marketing. Fuck advertising. All of it is like, it's just brain rot. It just fills the world with like garbage and coercion, and it just exists to like trick you into spending money on things that you wouldn't otherwise. I fucking hate it. I think it's genuinely like corrosive to the human soul, in my opinion.
Honestly, facts. I mean, you could extend that so far just to say that like that would also make by extension like grifting and like bot accounts and like all that, because that all is marketing at the end of the day.
That is the bold new frontier of marketing. Yes, unfortunately.
Yes, it exactly is. I was on Facebook today looking. To be clear, I very rarely use Facebook. I'm on there because of Marketplace and some other things, but because I don't follow anything, or I don't really have any like friends or anything on there, so I just see like the front page of YouTube, and it's crazy, dude. It is Facebook is so fucking cooked. Like it's all just like AI slop on there with like a bunch of like boomers and weird like horny foreign people just like engaging with this complete fucking nonsense. It's completely fucked.
Yeah, I think we've talked a little bit about this before. A lot of people throw around the phrase late stage capitalism a lot. And I think a lot of people use that phrase to mean like, oh, it's capitalism, but like extra bad because it's late stage or whatever. But I think the most useful way to think about it is more like, no, it's not just businesses trying to make money off of like customers. It's like things being sold to nobody, like things that exist for no reason other than to like grease the wheels of the machine, you know? Like when you look at all the ads on Facebook, it's like, this isn't meant for regular people. This is just like clickbait to attract bots to make the number go up so somebody gets like paid an arbitrary amount of money. But like, nothing's actually being made or sold or whatever. It's just very stupid.
Well, it's that's what it really should mean. It's like scraping the barrel. Now there's no real like honest way of, you know, finding like big success for the most part. It's all just like last ditch efforts to just grift your way into like, they're just trying to get the last like scrape the slop out of the barrel, just slap it on there. It's pretty fucked up, but also at the same time it's kind of like cool, like this can't last, so we're seeing like the worst of it right now. It's like
to extend the metaphor a little bit, this barrel was once full of wine and it was very easy to drink, but now you need to take like a fucking power tool to scrape some like vaguely grape flavored sawdust out of the bottom, you know?
Yes, right, exactly.
As to the question, by the way, I will say, I think about this a lot. I don't really consider myself like a spiritual person. I'm not really like religious in any way. I wasn't like, I guess my family was vaguely like religious. We did some like fucking Orthodox Christian vague traditions, whatever, growing up. But I'm not a spiritual person. But in a lot of ways, I do think some things are like, I think of them as being spiritually bad for you. And what I mean by that is like, when we talk about marketing, right, I think it's spiritually bad in the sense that like, if you keep exposing yourself to this over a long period of time, it's going to like make you a worse person. You're going to be less happy. You're going to have a lower opinion of the people around you. I just think it's like a bad way to live. So I think, yeah, fuck marketing.
Yeah, sure. I mean, that's a well, I guess your answer ties a little bit into mine, which is using x.com. That should be heretical. The only way to let this website finally die is to declare it as a heretical act, and you're no longer allowed to use that. Else you be shunned by good society.
Low blow, Dave. Low blow. I thought we were friends.
Yeah, well, I mean, that's you gotta take away the source of everyone's pain. I mean, it might be tough at first, but I promise you.
You ever think about you remember the old A&E show, Intervention? And it was basically like just like misery porn about like people with addictions or whatever.
Oh yeah, it's all like complete bullshit. It's like Dr. Phil thing where they I
think it was a little bit more real than Dr. Phil, but I'm just imagining like, do you think there's any episode of that where they talk about somebody with like a social media addiction, or was that like too far back? Before
if not in that show, there's definitely been like shows like that before on network TV. They're usually framed as like, my son uses the World Wide Web too much. Turns on the computer in the morning and turns it off.
All he cares about is this World of Warscraft.
And he needs to shape up or ship out.
All right, let's get the ball rolling. What's the next one?
Okay, a Weasel says, turf daughter or incel son?
Can I choose adoption agency? I think I'm not built to handle either of these.
That's true. I think I could handle an incel son. I think I could heal an incel.
Yeah, it's fucked up to say this, but I genuinely like. Obviously, I have no love for incels or anything. I think guys get some help. The grass is greener on the other side. But man, the way I see like the TERF movement devolve every year, I genuinely feel like it's a worse mental illness than whatever like the worst incel you can think of is like going through.
Well, the thing is, I think if an incel just like gets laid once, they'll stop being an incel. But for a TERF, I think you're just kind of like, for the most part, gonna be a piece of shit for a long time, if not forever. It's just kind of a mindset of just like, because so here's the thing is like, incels, there are a lot of women out there, and there's a lot of experience with women that you go through in your life, and you know, like you might have this collective negative experience overall with like with women and like whatever, and whether it's, you know, something they did or something you did, that's one thing. With the TERFs, I guarantee like 99.99% of these people have never met a trans person in their lives. They've never been like wronged by a trans person. They've never lost out on anything because of a trans person. It's just like, I am angry and I need something to hate, just some idea. So like I see them as kind of like adjacent to just like to Nazis or something like that, where it's just like, well, I never really like lost out on anything in my life because of like the Jews and the homosexuals and the gypsies or whatever, but like, I'm just like, I need somebody to blame for whatever I'm feeling. So like, here we go. And like, I'm not saying incels are not like that at all, but they probably have more like actual negative experience with
I will say, yeah. I think incels tend to trend a little bit on the younger side than TERFs. So it's also this factor of like, okay, a lot of these guys are like just like younger and like inexperienced, and like they don't know better because like nobody like crawls out the pussy knowing how to deal with relationships or whatever. But when it comes to the TERF stuff, it's more not just grown-ass adults. You see any of these like TERF meetups in the UK or something, and it's all just like bitter old women. You know what I mean? Yeah. And also actual Nazis these days. Like they used to have this like pretense of like, no, we're like radical feminists, we're just like liberals who are asking some hard questions, and now like the mask has like fallen completely off these days, you know?
Yeah, right. And they need they just need something to be mad about because they're just like miserable people. I think the incel anger is a little bit more pointed. I think it would be easier to get them out of that. They just need a better role model. I think the TERF people are like, yeah, like you said, they're probably like already broken to the fucking core.
Yeah, the only thing I'll add to what you said is I do think most TERFs just don't know any trans people, period. But I will say there's a small subsection of them for whom it's like, oh, they became a TERF because like their son or daughter or whatever transitioned, and now they've been like estranged from this person who they feel they have like some ownership over. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Their property didn't turn out the way they wanted to. So.
Yeah, I've seen some very like just heartbreaking, depressing fucking videos on YouTube talking about like this whole like estranged parents internet forum, and just like all the most like bitter, nasty people who are like, I just don't know what went wrong. I thought we did such a good job. I don't know why this little faggot doesn't want to talk to me anymore. You know what I mean?
Right.
Yeah, it's like, sorry, I don't know. I think we're both going to go with the incel son. There's hope at the end of that tunnel. Maybe.
There is hope for the incel son. The TERF daughter, you're in rough shape.
Yeah. All right. It's my turn now, I think. Right. Yeah. Okay. Next one. Shalom Guy asks, For Noah, okay, we gotta get Noah out of hiding. For Noah, do you know where I could go and shop for my dildo related needs? Noah, come out from under the bed. We got a question.
Hey guys, what's up? I've been thinking about capitalism lately.
Dildos, Noah. We want to hear about the dildos.
Oh, good. Just use code Noah at adamandeve.com, I guess, and you buy a dildo.
How's the job at the dildo factory going? How are you doing, Noah?
They just keep getting bigger and bigger, and a man's asshole can only stretch so far. I don't get it.
Yeah, that's unfortunate.
You gotta test them all yourself.
I will admit
I'm in R&D at the dildo factory.
I will admit, as I was typing up all these questions, I didn't know who was going to ask what, and I was like, I was totally prepared to do the Noah voice today, but there we go.
Yeah.
I hope, okay, I think we've said this before on the bonus episodes. I genuinely don't have any, like, real ill will towards Noah. I'm sure he's a fine guy. I just feel like, I think the only thing he's guilty of is having kind of fucking boring content. So
Yeah, I'm over my issue with Noah Sampson. I got nothing against the guy anymore. He's fine. Yeah, I do find that kind of like depressing, like lefty video essayist shit kind of just like, it's all very derivative and very like, it's like, yeah, dude, we know. I mean, but I don't know. We're not their audience. So it's like, I'd rather those people be recommended to somebody than, like fucking Charlie Kirk or some shit.
It's just like, so. I feel like a couple years ago, maybe like 2014 to 2016 or so, is like YouTube and shit was like just a lot more like right leaning. You had all the like annoying like Gamergate motherfuckers, and I think a lot of people like made it big on the platform, like filling the niche of like, oh hey, we can have left leaning content too. That's a market that's not being served, and it's like, okay, a lot of people are serving that market now, and it's like, oh, the stuff is it's very saturated. It's very low quality these days. So I don't know. It just doesn't interest me anymore.
I don't know. It's hard to say because our algorithm is probably different than a lot of people. So, I mean, maybe we do need as many people like that as there are, just to stave off the like the skeptics who are just asking questions about like skull shape.
That is true. I've seen a lot of people make jokes about how like, oh, since the far right is like picking up traction around the world, maybe we need to like crack the emergency glass and bring back like the annoying Reddit atheist type to just like call their numbers a little bit, you know what I mean?
But the annoying Reddit atheist type, they all become fucking right wing.
That is
at the
true.
End of the day.
That is a flawed strategy. I don't know.
I mean, isn't it like didn't the Gamergate type of people come out of like the skeptic YouTube community?
Yeah, so like I think this is my opinion of what went down. Back in like early YouTube, you had a lot of like Reddit, this is like pre-Reddit, like atheist types of people who like got a big audience, like owning the fundies or whatever, like, oh, you think God is real? No evidence actually. But it's like, I think a lot of those guys developed this like overblown sense of like undue confidence in their own like intellect or whatever. And like once it stopped being fun to like own the Christians or whatever, they're like, we need like a new target. And then you had like the fucking BuzzFeed feminism age, and it all just kind of like, we all know where that went. So
it's the because you can't, when you're that type of person, you can't really take a hard stance on you can't really have any like fundamental axioms in life about, except like Christians bad, Muslims bad, whatever bad. So you have to you couch all of your just like reactionary takes in like facts and logic. I mean, it's a Ben Shapiro type of thing.
Yeah, I when it comes to the internet, I have this view of, it's like if you live by the sword, you are going to die by the sword, right? Like, if you make your entire presence on the internet about, like, fighting people and, like, epically owning and dunking on other people, it's like, okay, that's the only thing your audience is ever going to want to see. And, like, I just think it's miserable to live that way and have to be stuck making that sort of content for so long.
Yeah.
Like, in a lot of ways, it's like, I want to be a person on the internet that doesn't have any real enemies, you know? Like, I feel there's a lot of people we kind of take some jabs at, but, like, I think it's all in good fun. I don't know. Like, we'll say some mean things to some people, but it's like, we're just like a goofy fucking, like, comedy podcast. Like, we don't have a big audience that we can weaponize to do, like, fucked up shit. So I don't know. Maybe my outlook will change if we ever get much bigger, but that's how I feel for now.
I've kind of been feeling more wholesome as time goes on. I kind of got into, like, the edgy mindset during COVID, I think, and I was like, I make content where I'm just a fucking douchebag all the time, and I mean, some would argue that I am, but I mean, like, I find it like, it's got to be so tiring to just do, like, takedown videos all the time, where it's just like current fucking person and current thing. Like, you can do takedown videos on like a really, like, big public figure and kind of break things down in an intellectual way, but it's just like reacting to the latest fucking thing that whoever said. It's just like, ugh.
Even when you watch all this stuff about, like, debunking this PragerU video nowadays, I'm like, who gives a shit, dude? This stuff is not made for real people to watch anyway.
Well, the thing is, I don't think you're changing anybody's mind with that. I think there are kind of like stepping stones that can like turn people away from just, like, being, like, dumb and annoying and, like, in being an enlightened centrist and all that type of shit. But yeah, when you just have a following which is just like, reacting to PragerU video and just like, obviously everything, and it's like, dude, everybody watches you knows this. It's not really productive. It's just like, it's no different than just like some right wing, like, fucking getting pissed off about a news article that you don't like type of shit. It's like, what are we really doing here? What are we really doing here?
That's what I'm saying here. It's like, this stuff doesn't really have any reach unless you decide to make content for an audience of, like, 16 to 18-year-olds who just don't have any real opinions on whatever yet, you know?
Yeah, exactly.
I think maybe, I don't know, I'm thinking about this. In the interest of being wholesome Big Chungus in the future, should we consider bringing Noah on the show at some point, like, for real? That could be funny.
I think it would be good. I think we could. I think
he would be good. I think he would be a good sport about it. All of my criticisms of him aside.
Yeah.
We'll see. Let's go on to the next one then.
Okay. So Shalom Guy says, I use Chris Chan-isms in my day-to-day life. Do I need to be put down?
Well, as long as you're working on it, I think you'll be fine.
I'm working on it. I'm working on it. Get that off the internet right now.
Did you ever see that video? Is kind of recent, of the one of Chris Chan getting arrested in like a motel or something?
No, I did not watch any of that because that just seems kind of sad.
It was it was pretty sad, but it was also kind of funny in some ways. I don't know. I feel like, man, I feel bad for Chris Chan. What a fucked up way to live.
Yeah, I mean, like, okay, so I'm not a huge, like, Chris Chan lore head, but the I'm working on it video, like, that is truly, like, one of the greatest pieces of internet footage, like, ever.
It reminds me of
like you could write, like, a PhD dissertation on, like, everything. There's just so much to unpack there. Forgive the term.
It reminds me of I don't know if you ever saw this. Oh god, I don't remember their name. It was this, like, teenage like emo girl and her like very like southern trucker looking sort of dad, and she was like crying about like harassment or something, and he was talking about like, I'm gonna contact the cyber police, consequences will never be the same.
Yeah, that one is so classic. Yeah, that oh man.
Do you want me to ruin that one for you a little bit with some added history?
No, go on.
So from what I understand, the person like the emo girl or whatever in that video grew up, and like 10 years later, I think they're either like a trans man or like a non-binary person these days, and they were like, yeah, my dad has passed away since then. He was like crazy abusive and like fucked up in a lot of ways. I'm like, oh,
I mean that sucks. That sucks for them. Or whatever your pronouns are. Sorry, homie.
Yeah, so I don't.
Yeah.
I remember. Okay, sorry to dead name the video in question. It was Jesse Slaughter. I don't know what this person goes by these days. My apologies.
That's such a cool name, though. I mean, that could be a name of any gender.
I was never really into the whole like emo scene thing, but looking back, I do think that name is kind of cool. So
Jesse Slaughter. But yeah, I mean, you could see like dudes who get that angry are not well. I mean, even if you're getting angry about something that you know deserves that kind of anger.
I'm not sure he was so much like, oh, I'm looking out for my child's interest on the internet. It's more like, I'm gonna do the performative angry dad thing. I'm gonna be macho to these people who don't give a fuck, you know?
Yeah, exactly. So yeah. Well, hope that person's doing well. Rip to the guy. Yeah, it sucks that you were an abusive asshole. But yeah, that like we don't see that type of thing anymore. I mean, I think you do, but it's all like fake stage TikTok bullshit for.
We got to do an episode on TikTok at some point. I hate all these parents who go on there. It's like, my daughter got a B on her math test, so I'm going to take apart her entire fucking room and throw all her possessions into the river. It's like, wow. Like, I don't know.
That was a genre on YouTube for a while. It's just like, my son's being an asshole. I'm going to take his Xbox out back and shoot it with a shotgun 40 times. It's like, maybe your son is an asshole, but like this parent is like 100% like unwell.
It's like in a couple decades from now, that person's gonna be on their deathbed like, I wonder why my kid just won't come to visit me anymore. Why am I alone in my dying moments? And like, well, there you go.
Yeah, without question.
On a lighter note, next question is from Protagon, who asks, thoughts on this image? And I will describe it thusly. This is like a little statue of like one of the like little green men or like little gray alien sorts of guys. It says $2,000 3D printed large size Paul, and it's like a little alien with shorts and like he's raising a finger. What do you think of this?
So first of all, I pinned this when Protagon posted it in the Discord. So we'll probably throw this up on the YouTube video as well. But so join the Discord if you haven't already, and you could find this easily. But so 3D printed large size Paul is $2,000. It's hard to tell from the context of this this square image how big he actually is. So like his head comes up to the
it's like a light switch behind it, right?
To a light switch, but I mean it's a light switch is usually like kind of like, I don't know what
I'm gonna guess like somewhere in the like 2 to 3 feet range.
Yeah, like chest height for most people. So like, yeah, I'd say probably like 3 feet. But maybe it's a really high light switch. Maybe it's a low light switch. I don't know. I mean, 3D printed large size Paul goes hard as fuck. Let's put that out there right now. That's a fantastic 3D printed large size Paul. $2,000 though.
That is a
that's
lot
crazy.
of money. I feel like it's
yeah.
probably because it's like standing upright and kind of like uneven. I'm like, okay, this is probably made of like pretty sturdy material, so it's probably not like completely hollow or whatever. It's probably got a good bit of weight to it, which might be where a lot of the money comes from.
I don't know. I mean, it's 3D printed, so assuming this is like a filament print, it's probably in multiple pieces. I mean, you can see where Paul's arm is like disconnected from, or the wrist and hand is disconnected from the rest of the body, but it does look like they sanded this down pretty well. Again, this is like not the highest quality image. Protagon do better. And then there seems to be probably painted, unless it's a, yeah. I mean, yeah. And then there's like a glossy top coat on that. I'm sure that was a lot of work. 2K though, I don't know.
I will say it's a little uncanny to me that he has like very human looking eyes. Like I feel like little green men or whatever should have like completely black eyes, you know. It looks a little I don't know if that's how he looks in the movie. I know this character is like a movie character or something, but I don't know. Not the most fuckable alien I've ever seen, but it is an impressive piece of craftsmanship. So.
Yeah, 8 out of 10 for craftsmanship. 1 out of 10 would not fuck.
Although, now that I mentioned that, I'm looking at it closer. He does have a very, like, big finger extended. You could probably, like, bounce on that a little bit, maybe.
Yeah. He's, like, giving the finger backwards, so I think you could twist that around as well. You probably put like, a servo motor on that, get a little Paul finger twister action on there. I don't know. I'm just spitballing.
Call that E.T. Comes Home. All right. Next one.
Yeah, moving on. All right, so we got Shalom Guy here says, for Absentia, solve this, and there's an equation here.
I'm sorry. I made an earnest attempt. I think the answer is like deer. I think the answer is deer. I don't know. I'm really. I'm showing my hand here. I'm a little bit bimbo pilled when it comes to the math stuff. I was never very good at this stuff.
So I mean, this is a pretty solvable equation. The problem is there's too many variables. You'd need to plug something in for these.
I want to find whoever introduced like letters to numbers and like yell at him. I don't like this. It makes me uncomfortable.
Oh, you don't like algebra?
No, I don't. I have a distinct memory of being in high school, and I think the last math credit that I was supposed to take to graduate was like 11th grade, like pre-calc or something like that. And that was a class that I only passed because like I went like full like pathetic little bitch mode and like actually like begged my teacher to pass me the class so I wouldn't have to do an extra year. And it worked, but no, I've never been good at math.
So the thing about the letters in math is that notation is actually better than what it used to be. Like in the early days of algebra, I guess they would just like write things out in like sentences, and it'd be like, if there is one without the 3 times a thing with, and it was just like what, like very confusing. And they would write like multiple pages of that. So somebody figured out like, oh, just use a fucking letter or some shit. Which I mean, that's better. Imagine having to read like several pages to just do like a simple equation. That's not great.
Yeah, I will admit I am playing up my dumbness a little bit here because I do kind of lean towards like the crunchy mathy side of like tabletop RPGs that I enjoy.
Exactly.
I know in the game that I'm writing myself, I do have some abilities that are straight up like, this does 4 plus X damage, where X is equal to this other thing. So I'm like, okay, I do use a little bit of algebra in
that's
my day-to-day,
literally
but...
that's literally algebra. So it's fine. But that's the thing is when it's something tangible, people don't really have a problem with it. It's just like math class for most of us fucking sucks. And because they just make it as abstract as possible, but like there is a use to this bullshit.
I genuinely think you could probably skip like all of middle school math class by just teaching those kids how to play Cyberpunk Red instead. That game is like fucking mathy out the ass. So
there you go. I mean, that could be like a whole 1 year project based learning thing. And also now like solving all of this shit by hand is like, I mean, it's like a cool exercise in whatever, just formulaic algorithmic bullshit. It's cool or whatever, but like we live in a time where you could plug any of these things into like fucking Wolfram Alpha and just get all of the answers right away.
That is true, but I do feel like you do at least need to know how the math works to like actually operate the complicated like calculator to begin with. To some degree, you know?
Yeah, actually, exactly, and that's the thing is like you should focus on kind of like the concepts, whereas like I don't know how much has changed now. From the tutoring that I do in Algebra 1 and 2 is like not that much, but like when I was in math class, it was just like, here's 100 equations, just do the steps to find them. And it wasn't really about like the concepts or anything behind that. So that's
very much how it was when I was in high school as well. So
yeah, exactly. So I mean, we have calculators now. We don't need human calculators. That shit was probably really important in like the 1960s, but we're past that now.
Yeah,
so,
and God knows we don't need fucking Chat GPT to do math. It cannot do math, guys. Don't use it for that.
I mean, that's probably one of the better uses for it, but yeah, I would be very
the thing about Chat GPT is like it's a language thing, so it's just going to spit out something that sounds and reads like a real math answer, but it doesn't actually do any calculations. So
yeah. You need a purpose-built one for that, like Wolfram Alpha. If you want to, for anybody who's in high school, who's listening to this, just use that to cheat.
Yeah, Wolfram Alpha did just like come out a couple years before I graduated high school, so like it's cool that it still exists.
It's pretty good. It's pretty good from what I've used.
Right. Next one. This is a question from Reed, and this is it says, question for Dave: is it hard being God's strongest Tradcath soldier?
Honestly, like it is a daily struggle. I just see people constantly just flying in the face of the will of God. And I mean, I take my Bible out. This is basically my day. 9 a.m. wake up, 10 a.m. cold shower, 11 a.m. get the Bible out, 10:15 a.m. Wait, 11:15. I mean, we're traveling through time here.
We were just talking about math.
yeah. Start crying. Then I usually go to a coffee shop and just start like making a scene there and smacking people in the face with this Bible. They don't take to it that well. Like I don't get this current society.
Yeah, I'm just imagining a guy that goes to Starbucks and they're like, okay, what name do I write on the cup? And he just starts reciting an entire Bible verse, and she's like, I'm not going to read all that, sir.
Yeah. I don't know. I'm just looking for a good old traditional woman who can just be subservient to me. And can't find one. They all have like thoughts and opinions and shit, and I'm not into that. So yeah, it is hard, Reed. I thank you for checking in though.
Yeah, I don't know if you've ever seen this. There was a video I saw once. It was like a dad and his like 10, 11-year-old son or whatever, and like this dad was like taking his kid out to go like preach the word of God to like a fucking like tourist beach in Florida or something. And he was doing this thing where it's like, I guess this is like a Christian like preacher thing where he's got this like 8-foot tall wooden cross or whatever, and he's like dragging it around and like asking people like if they've been saved by Jesus or whatever. And the thing that always got me about this video is like, if you look at him and his son like dragging these huge wooden crosses around, you'll notice that like one, it's got like a padded cushion or whatever so that it rests more comfortably on his shoulder, and like the bottom of the cross has this like little caster wheel bolted onto it so it like rolls neatly on the ground. And I watched this and I'm like, I feel like you guys are missing the point. I feel like the imagery of this whole like carrying the cross around, that's meant to be a burden. Why are you making it so fucking comfortable for yourselves out here, you know?
That is hilarious. That is hilarious. I mean, but that just goes with, I don't think that's necessarily a grift. They probably just thought like, oh, we need to like show this imagery, but like also that's hard. So let's do that. A better grift would be to like make like a carbon fiber hollow cross with like a wood veneer around it, and then just like the dude carries it around and like pretends to be struggling, but really it's like 4 pounds or something. that would be great. I don't want to give any Christian fundamentalist grifters any ideas there, but I'm just saying, if you use that, I'm patenting that, so you owe me like 80% royalties for all of the tithing that you get.
Yeah, well, I mean, 80% of a tithe is already 10%, so I feel like you should maybe ask for a little bit more than that, but
No, it depends on how much you're tithing.
I guess so. I don't know. I just brought that up because it's like, that doesn't seem very Christ-like to me, but that's just my...
Well, I mean, do you expect like actual
I will say like they were doing it on a beach, so I imagine, okay, at least that wheel is probably not helping too much in the sand or whatever.
Yeah, true.
All right, next one then. I think it's your turn.
Yes, okay. So another from Shalom Guy. What do each of you think the other would most likely be put in prison for? Ooh.
Oh, okay. This is a fun one. If I can start off, I will say,
yeah,
Dave, I think you would be arrested for some like really complicated, like high like white collar tax evasion sort of plan, like some sort of like you filed paperwork in a weird way to get like easy money for years, and then it's like, well, IRS found me, I gotta fuck off to Mexico. I think that's the sort of thing you'd be done in for.
I could see that happening for sure. And to be clear, anyone listening to this, I would never cheat on taxes. I would never falsify a government document. Legality is morality, as far as I'm concerned. Make sure you report every piece of income that you ever get, because those are the rules, motherfucker.
Yeah, folks, we love the law on this show.
Yeah, we're law-pilled here. We're law-pilled, especially when it comes to the IRS.
I love it when the long arm of the law just goes straight down my throat, and
yeah. All right, so what would Briar be put in prison for? I'm seeing you in the book depository with a bolt action gun that it's a dart gun, and there's just like a suitcase full of estrogen, and you're just shooting. You're just feminizing people out of a 7th story window. just creating God's army.
Absolutely. This is I would get arrested doing this at like the fucking like Republican National Convention or something. Just making America a better place.
that would be awesome. If you go to a Trump rally and you just like can you take estrogen like through like respiration? Like, can there be like an E-bomb Like, forget the H bomb. What about the E bomb?
That is a very good question. I think there was like a CIA project going back a few decades or something. It was called like the bomb that makes you gay or something. I know this sounds made up. Let me find this. Bomb that makes you gay. I am looking this up. It's called the gay bomb. Gay bomb is an informal term referring to a hypothetical, non-lethal psychochemical weapon about which the United States Air Force speculated. The unconventional idea involved the potential dispersion of sex pheromones among enemy forces with the intent of generating mutual sexual attraction among them, causing mass confusion and panic.
The CIA had so many harebrained ideas. Among like it's awesome. I mean, like MK Ultra is the obvious one where they're just like that is so hilarious to me. That whole story is just like they were like, oh, we developed this drug and we can like do mind control, and then they tested it out on some soldiers and tried to tell them what to do, and they were just like climbing trees and just like rolling around in the grass and like fucking around. They're like, oh shit.
Okay, here's a pop quiz for you, Dave, though. This Wikipedia article does list a year when this was put forward. When do you think this was? How recently do you think this was?
I'm probably massively off base with this. I'm gonna say the late 60s.
Dating back to 1994.
I was gonna say it's either that would make even more sense because they would because like they probably thought like it's fucking Desert Storm and Desert Shield and shit, and all these Muslim guys are all homophobic, so if we just like dropped a bomb on them that made them all fuck each other in the ass, like, it would be psychological torture on
that
top
does
of,
make
like,
me think of all the like chud soldiers who are like, yeah, I'm gonna dip my bullets in pig grease so that they don't go to heaven. It owned the Muslims or whatever, you know.
Yeah, that shit is funny because it's like, so you believe in their religion then, like, because they're not gonna know.
I'm pretty sure every Muslim I've ever heard talked about it was like, no, it doesn't work that way.
Yeah, yeah. It's about the intentions. It's not like, oh shit, like a drop of alcohol got spilled on me. Now fuck. Oh no. Mm-hmm. But I mean, do you expect much more from somebody who thinks that way? No.
Yeah. Speaking of enemy forces, next question is from Shalom Guy. Who or what is each of yours parasocial nemesis?
Oh man. Okay.
I assume this means like a big public internet figure whom we don't know but also intensely hate. And I have a good one.
Yeah. Well. Mine now is none other than fucking Rick Beato. Fucking. Some people in the community know my takes on Beato, but he represents everything that I think is fucking annoying as fuck about these like absolute just fucking joker, old ass fucking elitist motherfuckers that think that any music that's made after fucking 1978 is shit.
From the little bit I've seen of his videos, he gives me the vibes of like every like annoying like Hollywood producer type motherfucker
without
who's, like, just very locked into these old ways, you know.
Yeah, well, that's the thing, is because they feel threatened by any change because they're so. This is the other thing that bothers me about Beato is he's so industry pilled. And he doesn't realize that his takes are just like sucking the cock of like the music industry. He loves gatekeeping, and one of the fundamental things that he doesn't like about music right now is not like, he'll be like, oh, Spotify and computers make it so anybody can put a music on and now there's so much bad music. He loves the gatekeeping. He loves when 3 fucking publishing companies could tell you whether you're allowed to let other people listen to your music or not, outside of like Joe's bar in your local community. He loves that shit, and he doesn't like that people who know better than everybody, like him, of course, are allowed to make decisions about that. And that's my fundamental beef with Beato, and I just find him to be an insufferable, annoying fucking dinosaur of a person. And yeah, Beato, you suck. I hate you.
It reminds me of like the same kind of brain rot you see in all these like old school like stand-up comedians who do these Netflix specials like, oh, I'm being canceled, you can't make any jokes anymore. It's like these people have the same views of like, well, I made it big in my big expensive gate-kept industry. I shouldn't ever have to change with the times. Why can't I be just as like prestigious as I was 20 years ago without doing anything new, you know?
Yeah. And that's exactly it. That's the problem with these people. And it reminds me of there's a documentary, like I think Dave Grohl made it, or at least he's like the guy on camera most of the time, where it's called what's it called? Fucking something City. Soul City or something like that. And it's about like this old recording studio where a lot of people like a lot of like really famous like rock acts, you know, they pressed albums there, like Fleetwood Mac and Tom Petty and a bunch of people like that. And like it's a really interesting documentary, but he has all of these like old like engineers and producers and shit on there, and these guys are like the thing is like they really think they're cooking with these takes, but all it does is show anybody who's not like fucking 60 years old that these dudes have no idea what they're talking about, because they're like, back in the day you had to cut an album on analog and put it on the tape, and now people press a button on the computer and the album comes out. And it's like, no dude, you obviously have never used a computer before. You know nothing about like digital music production. It's not, you don't just press buttons in like song and music is like mastered and shit like that. Like that's not how it works. They just replaced expensive, giant, hard to use analog machines with digital versions, which are more accessible and affordable to everybody. But it's the same. You still have to do the same shit. You still need the same knowledge. But they don't know that. They don't know. They just want to be angry because times are changing, and they don't know any better. Yeah, they don't want to change.
Right.
All right. What's yours? What's yours?
Mine. Okay. I had to really think about this because there's a lot of types of guys who are like in the same genre as who I'm about to say, and I was like, okay, I have to pick one who I think might be the worst. I have to say it's Asmongold. I fucking hate Asmongold. That fucking piece of shit, dude, man. Ooh. The internet is like so full of like content creators and influencers who are like fundamentally like mediocre, if not outright shitty people who have like an undue sense of like self-importance and like undeserved fame or whatever. And I just think Asmongold is really just like the worst of the worst. He's like this like 30-something guy who just straight up cannot like live or take care of himself. I don't know how he like survives day to day, but I'm sure he's got like a whole bunch of like fucked up little diseases or like compounding health problems that are gonna bite him in the ass eventually. Yeah, I think he's just like an all-around like disgusting, filthy, like unremarkable person who commands like an audience that's like way too big and gives him way too much money for like the shit he puts out there. And I'm gonna say it's a little bit personal because I do feel like there's a game I've been playing for a very long time, which is Final Fantasy 14, and I will say there was a time like 2 expansions or so ago when like World of Warcraft, which is like what Asmon like blew up playing, where it was doing really poorly or something. So a lot of WoW people, and especially Asmon's fans, came over to FF14, and I genuinely feel like the community in Final Fantasy has just been slightly, if not significantly worse ever since then. It was legit like 100,000 plus people joined the game in like a short span of time. And they are just the most annoying, like unwashed, like filthy hog type of like insufferable gamer, macho asshole type people. And I don't know, I just fucking hate this disgusting stain he leaves on the internet everywhere he goes. Like, genuinely fuck this guy.
No, great choice. I mean, there's a bunch of reasons that I completely agree with you. Number one, I mean, the fact that he's a disgusting, like, slob, and let's be fucking real here. I'm not going to be an armchair psychologist. The dude doesn't brush his teeth, or clean his house. He's mentally ill. He's unwell. And that's
it's a hoarding thing.
And that's one thing, but the problem is he normalizes this lifestyle to a bunch of like young impressionable gamer douchebags who think like, oh, well, Asmongold doesn't brush his teeth or clean his house or anything, and he's epic on Twitch, and he has Mom, no, I don't have to clean my room. Asmongold doesn't. Like, these dudes, whether they know it or not, they have a massive influence on a bunch of like really young and impressionable people, but they don't give a shit. He doesn't give a fuck.
Not only does he not give a shit, I genuinely feel like he's just like a cancer on like every discourse or like news topic he talks about.
He
doesn't have any real beliefs. Like, I know he's done a little bit of like gamergatey, like right-wing culture war bullshit, but like I don't think he actually believes any of this stuff, because I don't think he believes in fucking anything at all. I feel like nobody should pay attention or give a shit about this fucking loser on the internet.
Yeah, fuck that dude. That's all I have to say about him. Like, he fucking sucks. If you watch this dude, like, please just stop. There are other people who are way better, who do a similar thing.
Just stop and please take a shower, like, for the love of God.
Yes, please, guys, shower, brush your teeth, clean your fucking room. These
wash
are normal
your
things. Yeah, wash your fucking ass.
Clean your room, bucko.
Yeah, they should have an Asmongold versus Jordan Peterson showdown. Where they just...
I would genuinely, I would really do it this time for real. Okay, next question. I think it's my turn. So Clam asks, is this a coconut-pilled podcast? And I want to add the context of, unfortunately, Clam asked this like back in July. So how are we feeling about the coconut pill now in early October?
I mean, I'm somewhat coconut pilled. The hype after Biden dropped out was much stronger, I think, when this all happened. I mean, I'm fine with her now. We got to do what we got to do.
I genuinely feel like,
but yeah.
I genuinely feel like if the election took place within a month of the political ad where they point out that the Republicans are just like fucking weird guys, I genuinely feel like it would have been like a 40-state sweep or something like that. But like, I don't know, I feel like a lot of the hype has died down because like, not to get too political about, I mean, this late into the episode, but it's like the situation in Israel is getting a lot worse. We've got all these like fucking natural disasters. I know right at the time that we're recording this, there's like a second hurricane that's about to like completely fuck up Florida, which, you know, I have no love for Florida, but, you know, like, that's gonna hurt a lot of the people who live there who have done nothing wrong. And it's like, man, the world really sucks right now, and I feel like all the like annoying like Hillary Clinton staffer, whatever, people have gotten their hands onto like Kamala Harris's campaign, and it's like, oh, they're not calling the Republicans weird anymore. They're trying to do this like both sides. Like, actually, I have the support of Dick Cheney and all these like Zionist assholes. We're a really big tent over here. And it's like, man, I don't know. A lot of the hype has died down. I feel like it's basically going to be a coin flip now. And I think the Dems have themselves to blame for not riding the wave of goodwill from people who thought things might improve for a little while.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know, because it's hard to say from our perspective and the communities and the shit that we see. Really what it comes down to in any election is these like weird undecided swing state voters, which like it's really hard to tell what they want. It's at this point, when it's just like, when you're really undecided between like Trump and like any just establishment bullshit Dem, which like obviously if you're not happy with like the Democratic Party and shit like that, yeah, fucking I'm there with you, homie. But it's just like, if it's like, I'm not sure. I might vote for Trump because the Dems suck and they don't do what they should do about Israel. It's like you're fucking insane, man. Like
it's very heartbreaking that the election basically comes down to like 5,000 suburbanites in Michigan who don't know fucking anything about the world. You know.
It's not a great system.
At the same time, I don't know. I feel like the vibe is still leaning a little bit more towards Kamala, because I look at like, okay, the thing about like suburban voters is I think they are put off by things being weird. And you look at these things like going on recently, like everybody's clowning on this appearance of Elon Musk at like a Trump rally where he said he's dark MAGA or whatever. And it's like, what does that fucking mean to like a normal, not online person, you know?
He's so dumb. Like he's so dumb. Like he's trying to co-opt Dark Brandon, but like that's the thing. He's like some like weird corny boomer. He's like when like some meme that's been going around and is already dead gets like co-opted by some like marketing ghouls at like McDonald's or something. They're like, eat spicy chicken like a boss. It's Brat Summer at McDonald's. It's like, what? That doesn't. You're not even doing that right.
The thing is, it's even worse, because if he said like, I think Trump is the most epic bacon presidential candidate, I think normal people would be like, epic bacon? What the fuck does that mean? I guess, I don't know. Is bacon good? Maybe. But like when he does the dark MAGA thing, it's like, okay, you have all these fucking Bubba Joe and his like seven wives or whatever. They hear this and they're like, well, I want to make America great. Why does it have to be dark? What does he mean by dark? What's this dark sided stuff? And you know, it's like, it's gonna, I think he's trying to appeal to like very online like Groyper 4chan Nazi types, while like not understanding that a lot of people under that conservative tent are not about that and don't get it, you know?
Yeah he's just very out of touch, dude. Fucking loser.
Yeah, so are we still coconut pilled? A little bit, maybe. I don't know.
I like coconuts as like a food source.
Every time I go out to get a little snack at the dollar store out here, I love Bounty chocolate bars. It's like the coconut covered in chocolate. It's very good. I love those.
Oh, that's probably like Almond Joy here.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. All right. I think the next one is your turn.
Yeah, okay, so Shalom Guy says, what is your favorite dead meme and which one would you want to bring back? I'll let you take.
Okay, let's do the first part first. What's our favorite dead meme? I don't know why this one is like so endearing to me, but I'm a big fan of Here Come Dat Boy, Oh Shit, What Up? And it's a picture of this like shitty rendered like 3D frog on a unicycle. It's just very cute to me.
Yeah. I guess I mean I was really racking my brain on this one, but I think like Uganda Knuckles was a fun one as well.
Okay, that one is a little bit problematic, but I do admit I remember watching the videos of like a dozen people being like Ugandan Knuckles in like VR chat or something, and it just, I don't know, I can't deny it was very funny to me.
Yeah. Okay. Actually, I was actually racking my brain on this one, but just talking about it, the actually one that I think is better than that is the Peter Griffin Explains.
Oh, oh, that one's really good. It's one of those very long-winded.
It's so dumb. It's just so dumb, and it kind of like it's kind of one of those like post-ironic. I think it was kind of the beginning of that like post-ironic meta meme thing, where I mean, I don't know. They're just they're fucking stupid. There's probably a better one that I'm not thinking of now, but
well, this brings us to the second part. And which ones would you want to bring back? Do you have any different thoughts on that one, or?
Yeah, we should bring back Rage comics because they were hilarious.
I saw a really funny chart someone made about like they had like it was like a chart of dinosaurs or something. It's like here's this like chart of biodiversity, and then there's a mass extinction event, and then everything that comes up afterwards is based off like the few surviving ones. And they pointed out like, yeah, we used to have all these different unique faces from like Rage comics, and then there was a mass extinction event, and most of them fell out of use, and now everything is some type of Wojak, you know?
Yeah. It's like a a hominid evolution chart, but it's with like fucking shitty. And to be clear, guys, I don't think Rage comics were ever funny, even when that was trending. The only one though, and I think this is also like a post-ironic meme thing, is like the he will never ball in, and then he's like spitting out a cereal. You know what I'm talking about? The stick figure.
The one that is a good one, by the way. The one Rage comic I have a fond memory of is the one where he's like, oh hey, he's like talking to this girl and they're hitting it off, and she's like, oh I'm sorry, I have a boyfriend, and then he starts reciting this like Mastodon song about like hunting the white whale, and he just like stabs this guy to death. It was really good, guys. If you know what I'm talking about, you know it. I have two memes that I want to bring back for very different reasons. The first one is this was a thing back when I was in high school. It was like an early internet activism thing. I want to bring back Coney 2012.
Oh, yeah.
Coney 2012 was like this like online like activism thing where it's like, hey, there's this guy called Coney, and he's like an African warlord, and he's a really bad dude, but we can, if we, I don't know, sign enough petitions, we can get him to stop killing all those people. And it was like, I think there was somebody involved in the Coney 2012 activism thing that was like, oh, he got like outed for like jerking off in public or some shit.
Well, it was the guy behind it all. It was the director of the film, the guy who like made it. And there was a South Park episode about that where they had a really good like kind of like barbershop quartet kind of song at the end. As far as I remember, it's like jacking off in San Diego, and it was just like at the end of it, I think it was Kyle or Stan or somebody, and he was just like jacking off in the middle of the street. I forget what that had to do with the plot of the episode, but it was a lampoon on that dude who, apparently the stress of making Coney just made him start jerking off in public.
It was like some kind of mental breakdown thing. I don't know. I just think it would be very funny to bring back Coney 2012 in 2025.
Yeah.
I don't even know if Coney himself is like still alive nowadays. I don't know. I imagine the shelf life of African warlords is not too long, but
I mean, that goes to show the impact that documentary had on us. Probably not that significant. We don't even know. We haven't been following him. We needed Coney 2024, and
we need to follow up on that.
They need to jack off too, though.
Yeah. Keep on stroking, guys. The other meme, speaking of stroking, by the way, the other meme I would bring back is the Bowsette meme, which I don't know if you're familiar with this one, Dave.
No.
So Bowsette was a thing on the internet where there was like some Super Mario game, and there's like a bunch of different characters or something, and one of the characters is Toadette, which is like one of the Toads but like a girl, and she can pick up this Super Crown power up to turn into Peachette, so it turns her into like a reskinned Princess Peach or something. And people took the logical extreme of this in fan art, and they were like, well, what if Bowser takes that power up and becomes like a hot dommy mommy like goth princess that like fucks Mario or something? And like for a little while everybody was doing like Bowsette art where they just redrew other characters as like hot goth girls or something. And I think this is like the most mainstream that Forced Femme has ever been in the public consciousness, so I think we should bring that back.
Oh shit, yeah, I missed that one. I'll have to look into that. Concerning. Yeah, looking into this.
I'll send you some folders later.
All right, great. 16 terabytes of Bowsette. Yeah, cool.
Yeah, hope your Discord account can handle this one.
Yeah, I got Nitro. It's fine.
All right, there we go. Next one. I think it's your turn.
Okay, so Weasel says, what do you guys think about the UFO UAP phenomenon? Aliens, black projects, natural phenomena?
The thing I want to say first immediately is I only care about aliens so far as that they are hot space babes. The second thing is I sincerely doubt that we've actually come into contact with real, like, intelligent spacefaring aliens or whatever. I genuinely feel like all this stuff is just, like, wish fulfillment from people who, like, do not understand the world and want it to be a little more fantastical than it actually is.
Yeah, well, I mean, obviously there's a lot of unexplained phenomena. Like, you could say that it could be just technological testing by humans or something like that. As far as aliens and stuff like that goes, I don't think we're going to see aliens in the classical sci-fi sense where it's somebody in a flying saucer who comes down and does that shit. It more likely, I would say that there are going to be phenomena that are that are crossing like the absolute frontiers of our knowledge of like space time. Like it could be some sort of entities from higher dimensions that are just kind of like blink into this one temporarily and then disappear or something like that. I don't think there's some fucking alien race on Alpha Centauri 5 that's just going to come here in a spaceship and just be like, we would like your coal and water because we can cross like multiple thousands of light years in our lifetime, but we want like your concrete and iron.
Yeah,
like, that shit doesn't really make sense.
Yeah, we traveled like 500 light years to your tiny little rock covered in nuclear weapons and like violent apes to take this like very common resource. You know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, that's kind of like the Independence Day kind of take on things. It's all very like anthropocentric. It doesn't really make sense. I think there are like other intelligent species out there. I just don't think we really have the framework to see them or even fathom what they're doing. I mean, we are still just fucking apes who kind of figured out how to like, use some fucking dino oil and silicon to do stuff for us, but we're not that advanced.
I definitely think aliens are real and exist out there because I'm like, you guys, like, the human brain cannot actually process how fucking big the universe actually is. I feel like it would be very alarming and distressing and bleak if it did turn out that somehow with how big space is, we are actually the only thing out here. And I think I prefer not to think about that possibility.
Yeah.
But then at the same time, I'm like, I don't know. Like, I feel like even considering that chance is like that by itself is like some level of like human hubris, right? Like, wow, we really think we're the only thing that exists. I don't know. I think whatever is out there is, like you said, it's going to be like too weird for us to even notice at the moment.
Exactly.
And like maybe even understand, period. Like, for all we know, the next most intelligent species, like smarter than we'll ever be, is like some kind of like fucked up like squid thing. Who knows,
Well, even it's probably like just a fucking shape that just like exists in some like higher dimension that we can't even see or detect.
Maybe it's just a fucking like nebula-sized like gas cloud that can think,
Yeah,
who knows?
Yeah. We don't really understand consciousness at all. So who the fuck knows? Probably everything is conscious. They just can't communicate with us or don't want to. Which I get that because a lot of people
not to get too spiritual, but I always like the idea of people have this phrase about like, living is like the universe like experiencing itself, right? So like maybe, I don't know, maybe once we die we just become part of the big intelligent gas cloud or some shit. Who knows? I don't know.
Yeah, I mean that's a most logical explanation for me. The return to the singularity, the oneness of the universe. But we'll find out eventually, I guess. Cheers.
Yeah, there we go. All right, next one we got. This is a question from Shalom Guy, who asks, what's one fictional character that each of you would want to meet and hang out with for a day? That's a good question.
Yeah. You got one?
If I got one, fuck, I don't know, probably like a dozen fucking NPCs I've gotten attached to in FF14 over the decade, because it's my... I've said this before, FF14 is like my gay little like power of friendship anime soap opera that I'm just too invested in to ever plug out of by now.
Yeah.
So
yeah. I don't know if I have one specifically. I don't know.
I got one.
Yeah.
I think I would love to hang out with any of the gorillas. I think they seem pretty cool. I like the band. They seem like fun little cartoon characters.
Oh yeah, yeah. That's for sure. Have you ever seen the music videos for the Daft Punk album? In the series was Interstellar 5555. You know
I think okay, yeah. I see where you're getting at. Yes,
yeah, that seems like
fun.
that seems like a cool squad. I'd like to jam with them.
That would be very sick. I'd be down for that.
Yeah, that's us, just fictional musicians based on real musicians. That's it.
Absolutely. Next question. I'll take this one again because it's kind of a same follow-up. Snacky asks, what about a fictional character you would take back to your room after that day?
Okay. Well, there's only one chick in that band, so I guess it would default to her. She's green, so that would be a new one for me.
Yeah, not to imply anything between us.
Well, you're blue, so
right. Okay.
Yeah.
Fictional character. I'm going to be very embarrassing here. I will say either Makima from Chainsaw Man or Kafka from Honkai Star Rail. I'm very into the manipulative Dommy Mommy type. So there you go. You have my embarrassing answer.
Yeah. I did play Final Fantasy 14 briefly. Who's the was she like a Rogue Aiden in like in the first
the like pirate captain lady?
Yeah. What's her name?
Merlweb. She's like the leader of the pirate city. She's very cool.
She seems like she would be a good time.
She's pretty cool, although it's a case of like, wow, what a great character design, and then she is like barely present in the story. Unfortunately, they really do not do a lot with her, so that's a bummer.
Yeah. Well, right.
Since this is another early FF14 character, this is a basic bitch answer because this is like everybody's wife. But I will also say Y'shtola, the bookish librarian, magical cat girl lady. She's also very cool.
Oh yeah, Y'shtola. That's a basic wood.
I like her a lot, but I'm a little pissed because like a couple expansions ago, they kind of just like whitewashed her a little bit. She's more of a white girl in the later ones. They took away some of her melanin, and I'm not happy with that.
Yeah, that's erasure.
Yeah. All right, let's move on to the next one before I embarrass myself further.
Okay, all right. So Heresy asks, shitload of fuck or fuckload of shit?
I gotta say shitload of fuck. I want fuck. I don't want shit. I have enough shit as it is.
Yeah, facts. I mean, there's nothing else to say about that one. Obviously, we want a shitload of fuck.
Yeah.
And that's really the paradigm for all of our lives is get a shitload of fuck and don't get a fuckload of shit. That's my main takeaways to all you youngsters out there trying to make your way in the world.
Yeah, speaking of memes that we like, I'm just now thinking of the little chud meme of like, if you will please consult the graphs, and I want to point to like a line chart of the amount of fuck going up over time.
Yes. That's a good one.
Yeah. All right, that's it for that question.
All right, so Protagon asks, thoughts on this review of Blade 2? And
Okay, first of all, we're not going to read all of this on air right now because it's quite long.
Yeah, so I did peruse this, and apparently this review, which was made in 2002, by the way, talks about that Guillermo del Toro eats pussy better than any man alive, based on this person's analysis of Blade 2. It's hard to say. Like if this was posted on fucking Twitter now, I would say this is like somebody trying to be lay quirky memeing, like funny, but like for this to be on just some like weird random blog in 2002, think that this person might just be weird, and they might just think about everything they watch in this framework, which I mean, interesting take, I guess.
I don't know.
I can't really
I'm a little
opine on this.
I'm a little less cynical. I think, or maybe, I don't know, more cynical. I genuinely think, I do think this is like a troll or like somebody just having a laugh, but like this is 2002, so that was back when people did it like purely for the love of the game and not for any sort of attention. So I don't know. If you want my honest opinion, honestly, Protogon, I think you linked this just to hear me talk about like eating pussy on air for like a few minutes. So like, I'm sorry, but you'll have to support Project $20 if you want that out of me.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, that's another thing you get with Project $20. We're more motivated to say weird shit on air.
Yeah, I'll produce some instructional audio of your choice.
Yeah.
All right, that's a good one. Next question from Shalom Guy. Again, this is a little bit dated because we're going back a few months, but this question is, how do you think Murat feels about that Turkish guy taking second place in the Olympic shooting event with only earplugs and no other assistants? How do we feel about that?
I mean, I can't speak for Murat. I don't know him personally. I wish I did. But,
yeah, Shalom. Do you think he's just gonna like this guy because he's also Turkish? That seems like a little bit of an assumption on your part.
Problematic much? I don't know.
I think we actually did talk about this in like a bonus episode. It was the most Turkish man alive, and I think that guy is cool. But
yeah. I mean, that guy is cool, and Murat's also cool. So they probably feel some affinity towards each other, at the very least, I would say.
I did since that event. I heard some like whisperings on Twitter about like, oh, this guy was like a military captain or something back in this year where like Turkey was doing like some sussy shit abroad. So like, oh, maybe all these jokes about him like getting good with a gun from killing civilians, maybe that's true, but I don't know. I don't want to defame this guy because I do not know the full details. But,
I heard that's all bullshit, but then again, I don't really know.
Yeah, I'm putting very little stock in that. I will admit though, like seeing all those people like have this fancy, complicated equipment, how can you not root for the guy who doesn't need any of that shit and just shows up in like a shirt and jeans, you know?
Yeah, I mean that's badass. That guy's cool.
Yeah, there we go.
Yeah. Yep, that's it. That's all we have to say. All right, next one. Another one by Shalom Guy. What are your thoughts on Cheetan, Japan's crazy mascot?
I love Cheetan. I'm a little conflicted because I think the first place that I heard about Cheetan was the fucking, what is it called, the late night show or whatever, with John
Oliver thing.
Late tonight. I don't know. They all have similar names, and John Oliver is very like, I think he does some good journalism, but it's very like, man, that sense of humor is really grating.
That's a problem. Is it's like the takes are good, but he's so insufferable that it's just like, God, this makes me like embarrassed to share your politics. Like,
it's really annoying, isn't it? It's annoying when I say
come
things
on,
over and
Donald
over again.
Trump.
You're being annoyed right now,
Donald
aren't
Trump.
you?
Come on, Donald Trump. Come on, isn't it? Isn't it? Isn't it? And the fucking soy, like, shit lib audience is just, like, pissing and shitting themselves in laughter. Like, Jesus fucking Christ.
But
man.
yeah,
Come on.
to bring it back to Cheaton, I have a lot of love and respect for Cheaton. It's like this person in one of those like really big like inflatable or whatever, like the really sturdy like Japanese mascot costumes, and they are basically just like throwing themselves down hills or like running into traffic or like getting like fucked up and like hurt or like jumping into a pile of chairs or something over and over. And it's really funny to me, but also because on Twitter, Cheaton has become kind of big in the sense of like if you write the word Cheaton into any tweet, like whoever runs that account is going to find it and they're going to reply with something like just wholesome and positive or whatever. And apparently whoever runs Cheaton has gotten into some shit back in Japan because they're very like openly supportive of like queer and trans people or whatever on the internet, and like that's not that doesn't fly as well in Japan or something like that. So I don't know, I think whoever runs Cheaton is probably pretty cool.
Yeah, well, fucking hats off to Cheaton. Love you for that.
Yeah, I know also, I think I saw this tweet a few days ago. Somebody was freaking out that they saw a video from like H-Bomber guy, our boy, Harris the Bomber Man, who drops the bombs. It was a video from like 6-8 years ago or something, where you just see a tiny Cheaton like plushed figure in like the background, and it's like, I don't know, it goes all the way back.
Oh, he knew.
Maybe he's the person in the suit all along. Here's another question from our boy Trash Bins, another former guest on the show. Check that out. That was our first guest episode. Pew, 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 pew. Yeah. Trash Bins asks, what fictional character do you hate the most and why? Oh, it is hard to narrow this one down.
All right. So I have a tie. And I hate them for different reasons.
Okay.
I'm gonna first talk about if you've ever watched The Sopranos, the very famous HBO series The Sopranos. I am always very adamant about my hate for none other than Paulie Gualtieri, because he as a quasi Italian American. He represents everything I hate about like Italian American fucking Jersey trash Guidos, where they fully go deep into this identity, and but like these dudes, like they're just like fucking grimy, douchey losers. They don't know anything about Italy, or they speak no Italian. They've never been there, and they're just like, hey, this is I'm this way. And he's just like in the show a piece of shit. But the other one that I have more to opine on is Don Draper from the absolutely fantastic series Mad Men. And if you haven't watched Mad Men, it's about advertising guys in the late 1950s, early 1960s. And Don Draper, he's one of those characters where, like, if you have a modicum of intelligence, you understand as you watch the series, this is like a very like broken man who you should kind of like feel pity for. And he's not a role model. He's kind of like just like a very flawed character. But he's very handsome and he's very cool and he gets a lot of chicks and he's very successful and he has a lot of money. So like there are people who watch his show, and that's the thing about that show, and in like The Sopranos with Tony Soprano and some of the other characters as well. It's like you get these people who are just like, oh, Don Draper, that's when a man was a man, and I want to be more like Don Draper. This guy's so cool. I'm like Don Draper. He's who I want to be. And it's like, no, dude, you're missing the point. Like, it's not. No, you don't want that. He doesn't want to be him. Like, that's the point of the show. So like I hate those characters because they're like meant to be, you know, like I mean, you root for them because you get invested with the characters when you watch a show, but the takeaways that some people who consume this kind of media walk away with is like, oh no, fuck, shit. Well,
there are so many characters like that, like your fucking like Tyler Durden or like the Joker type characters.
The
where it's
Joker,
like, everybody like, oh, like you're not supposed to root for this character, but like you kind of see the show from their perspective. So like, I kind of get it, but it's like, man, it's just like the worst people like latch on to this sort of thing.
Yeah, and that's a problem. You try to do something with a little bit of depth, and then there are people who are like, oh, he's based. This is I'm gonna be more like him. It's like, oh shit, man, you didn't. Fuck. All right. Well, okay.
My answer is not as well thought out because I feel like, I don't know, I don't watch a lot of media where I'm like, oh, I really hate this character, whatever. So I will say the character I hate most is an anime character called Astolfo, which a lot of people might know as like the like pink-haired like femboy character that you see in a lot of like weird people's profile pictures online. He's from like one of the fucking like Fate animes. I don't know, there's like a dozen Fate series. I haven't watched any of them, and I don't actually know anything about this character other than like vaguely being based on like a historical night or something, because everybody in Fate is like, what if this historical figure was like an anime girl or something. This is just one of those characters that I've come to hate because it's like, oh, every time I see this character, it's probably as like the profile picture of some like Nazi pedophile dipshit on Twitter. And I'm just like, well, I don't know anything about the character, but they have just become so synonymous to me with like the most annoying motherfuckers on the internet, which I guess is a little bit similar to your answer as well. So it's like, yeah, I don't know. I don't really.
Yeah, so I'm looking. I just looked this up now. I've probably seen this before. This is a type of like, if you love this character, you probably need to be put on like a watch list. You probably need to like not be allowed near elementary.
I get it. Let me see. I
honestly.
have the Fate wiki open. How old is this character? Is it going to tell me? I feel like I'm scrolling way down and I don't see an age yet, which is troubling.
Yeah. So no, it's actually an adult. It's just the art style where everybody looks like they're 12. So.
Well, first, I'm going to dispute that because I've seen other characters in Fate, and they very much look like adults in some of the other cases.
Oh, there you go. You got no excuse, motherfuckers.
Okay, a Reddit post says they are 21 years old, which seems like a very suspicious. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
All right.
They're 1,000 years old. They're undead. Whatever.
Yeah.
They just look like they're fucking 9. Cool.
Yeah. Of course.
Right.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Like I said, I've never.
Yeah.
I don't have
normal.
I don't have strong feelings one way or the other about Fate. I've never seen it. I'm not really a big like shonen person in general. This is just like, I don't like this character because they are often the profile picture of very annoying people. So
Yep. There you go.
All right. Next one. This is a question from Reed, and this is a good question here. People joke about the Harambe timeline, but it makes you think. In the past 20 years, what seemingly harmless events do you think had a real effect on history?
Shit, man, I don't know.
So man, okay, this is a little heavy. I don't know if I can fully articulate what effect on history it's had, but I think it's been pretty impactful on the internet. I'm going to say, back when Tumblr banned porn, I think that really changed the landscape of social media. Because, like, in a lot of ways, Tumblr was a big, like cultural force on the internet. In a lot of ways, it was kind of, like, on par with 4chan, where, like, 4chan was the more, like, edgy, kind of right-leaning, like dark kind of humor stuff. And Tumblr was the more, like, progressive, like, gay, ooh, soft boy kind of, like, queer-leaning side of things. And I think back when Tumblr banned porn, you saw this exodus of, like, I think it was something like 70 to 90% of the user base just, like, left the website, including people who, like, didn't post any porn or whatever on their account, period. And since then, I think you saw, like, this huge move of people who are used to, like, the culture of Tumblr onto other websites. And I think that's had a big shift in, like, how things have played out, like on Twitter, on Reddit. I don't know, like in a lot of ways, I feel like there's still this like haunting specter of Tumblr's influence on the internet, even though the site has like people are still on it on it these days. But I think it's fallen off in a lot of ways, and I don't know. It's one of those like, oh, this is just some dumb social media bullshit thing. But I do think that's a little innocuous thing that most people are not going to be aware of. But I do think it's had a huge effect on the internet, at least.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a good one. That's a good one. I mean, I guess I could say, in that vein, I can't really think of a better one, but just this recent legislation that took a bunch of shit off of archive.org, that took a bunch of books off of that. We're kind of seeing now just how the insidious, just kind of like
that one was fucked up, guys. Subscribe to the Patreon. We did a bonus episode where we just like rip into what's his name, Chuck Wendig, the guy who killed the Internet Archive allegedly, definitely, for like an hour. It's a lot of fun. Fuck that guy. I don't know. I really like the depth of this question, but it's hard to answer directly, because I feel like
it's hard because it's like seemingly harmless. I mean, I guess you could also say like I don't know if this is actually in the past 20 years, but like the like Lars Ulrich and Dr. Dre suing Napster. That kind of set the stage for the whole like RIAA and like the Digital Millennium Copyright Act and all of this shit.
Didn't Metallica also try to go after Napster?
Yeah, that's Lars Ulrich is the...
Oh, right.
Yeah,
okay.
Yeah,
here we go.
He's the fucking shithead loser fucking drummer, which at that point they were making fucking vast amounts of money, but it wasn't enough for this motherfucker. Like, he had to get pissed off about 14-year-olds downloading like 2 songs off their album on a 56K modem. That was the destruction. I mean, it goes back to the Rick Beato thing. It's like these dudes just cannot fathom a world in which they don't get to control everything about how everybody consumes any piece of media. It's the same with these fucking Hollywood fucking scumbags and all this shit. Like, oh god, like they are absolute fucking ghouls. They suck. Yeah. I mean, fuck yourself.
I think to give another answer to this question, this kind of stretches things, because I don't think this is seemingly harmless. I do think it was like bad from the get-go.
Yeah, it's
but
hard
I genuinely feel like the thing that's been the worst for the internet and like history at large, this star is a small thing, is I think I blame Steve Bannon for most of why things are the way that they are right now. And maybe we'll do like a proper historical breakdown episode of this at some point, but Steve Bannon has always been this like right-wing like analyst, like commentary, like he's just like one of these like right-wing ghouls that affects all the people over on that side. Yeah. And a long time ago, I think it all started when he had this realization. He was running this like gold scamming thing in like World of Warcraft or whatever, where he was getting like Chinese players or whatever to farm gold in game and sell it for real world money or whatever. And through the process of doing that, Steve Bannon realized that like, oh, there's a lot of like young, lonely, angry, like gamer type guys on the internet, and he like set out a plan to like how to like weaponize that demographic of people. And I think everything that came out of then, like tying back to Steve Bannon, like this Gamergate shit, all this like online culture war stuff, I genuinely think a big part of that is like the reason why someone like Trump got elected in the moment that he did. A big reason why like you see all these like conservative grifters on the internet nowadays. I don't know. I think if you tie enough strings on the cork board, they all go back to Steve Bannon, and I'm very confident and comfortable saying I do think Steve Bannon like ruined the internet and played a huge part in the like global resurgence of fascism in the last like 10 to 15 years. So yeah,
without question. Yeah.
Like people have these Yeah, people have these hypotheticals about like, oh, if you could go back in time, would you shoot baby Hitler? And like, I would shoot baby Steve Bannon. I genuinely think it's for the good of humanity that I don't know, fuck that guy. My lawyer is advising me to not give my full thoughts. So
yes, we don't condone anything illegal on this podcast at all. So
yeah, so we can't condone like any of the bullshit that Steve Bannon has gotten up to.
Sure.
So,
hey, that's also true. Okay.
All right. We're like almost 2 hours in, and we still got a lot left. So let's bang through the rest of these.
Yeah. Okay. All right. So Knackles, our dear sweet Knackles, says, if you had to have sex with one horrible person, in parentheses, has to commit at least morally apprehensible crime, who would it be, and would you top or bottom? Or would you be a side, also known as somebody who refuses to douche? Okay.
My answer to this question is, Knackles, are you doing okay? Are you doing all right? Do you want to talk?
Knackles is doing great. That's a distinctively Knackles question.
All right, I have my answer. Do you want to go first?
No, I want you to go first.
Okay, I don't know her name, but I think you'll know who I'm talking about. Have you seen, what's her fucking name? Like, it's like Kim Jong-un's like psychotic looking sister.
Yeah.
She has like
solid.
evil dictator vibes.
Yeah.
She just looks very scary and intimidating. And you know what? I usually prefer to top, but you know what? I think I would bottom for her. I wanna get that full glorious North Korean oppression in the bedroom.
Yeah, that's Juche pilled for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, cool. I mean there are a bunch. I guess since I saw this person on my YouTube feed recently, I'm saying Brett Cooper, the Ben Shapiro female clone.
Oh my god!
Here, and I would top, and I think it's like psychologically, it's because I just want to top Ben Shapiro to assert my alpha dominance on him. But I'm not attracted to men, so it's gotta be you, Brett. Call me.
I like to think that somewhere in the Daily Wire studios they have like an underground like Nazi secret science like lab whatever, and I think they just like genetically like took a bit of like skin or whatever from Ben Shapiro and like grew her in a test tube. I genuinely feel like that's where she came from.
Oh, without question, which is all the more sweet.
I just think it's very funny, this image of like Ben Shapiro like reproducing asexually like some kind of like amoeba or something, you know?
Well, he certainly doesn't fuck his wife because he thinks having a wet pussy is like a disease. Like his wife told him like, if the pussy gets wet, it means she has cervical cancer. So that's why I've heard every time.
Yeah, I've heard you're not even allowed to enter within like 5 miles of the Daily Wire studio if you have even a bit of moisture below the waist.
Yeah,
so.
they have a humidity meter. It's
like one of those like wands that the TSA like holds over you and it goes off like a Geiger counter.
Sorry, too wet. You're gonna have to air that. You're gonna have to put a silica gel packet in that thing.
Yeah. There we go. Dry ass pussy. Okay. Next question is from Pierogi, who asks, I'm gonna read this directly as it was typed, but he asks, would you rather have unlimited bacon but no games, or games, unlimited game, and no games? I think he meant unlimited bacon and no games, or unlimited games and no bacon. So how are we feeling about this one?
Bacon, I could take it or leave it. It's kind of a condiment as far as I'm concerned. But I like games, so we're going games all the way, baby.
I think I would also go with the games because games are very expensive and they're always coming out. But I feel like if I have unlimited bacon, like there's only so much bacon I can eat in one day, even if I liked it a lot more than I do. I mean, I do like it, but it's like, I don't know. I think I don't want to slaughter an unlimited number of pigs just to sate my hunger for a little side snack. You know?
Yeah. If it was some other food thing, it'd be
Now, if it was like unlimited Korean food or unlimited games, then it's got to be Korean food all the way, you know?
Sure,
So,
sure, yeah. All right. In a similar vein, Snacky asks, when does the narwhal bacon?
yeah, I'm sorry. I don't know if we can answer this because like both of us have fucked before. So like, I don't know, dude.
Yeah,
I don't know, like 3:30. I don't know.
Yeah, 12 high noon. That's when the narwhal bacons.
It's high noon. Yeah. Well,
Hello,
there you go,
fellow Redditors.
Yeah. Next question is from Clam, who asks, dick-sized nipples or a nipple-sized dick? And I don't know how to answer this because I feel like dick can come in a wide variety of sizes, you know?
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, that's true. I guess you have to think of it through the framework of just like an average size dick. Or average size nipples.
Yeah, I don't know.
As well.
I think I'm gonna be bold. I'm gonna explore a new frontier. I'm gonna say dick-sized nipples. I think, you know what, all you ladies out there with really, really big nips, you're beautiful too. We appreciate you. I don't know.
Okay, all right. Dick-sized nipples, because you could probably make a career on the hub with that. And then I think it would be easier to get those surgically removed, because I don't think I'd want to live with dick-sized nipples for that would be difficult.
That is true. Like in my head, I was imagining them like being wider, but I guess it could also be like if it's dick-sized, it could just be like very long. I don't know. Like like some kind of like insect proboscis or whatever. I don't know. I'm grossing myself out here. I'm sorry.
Yeah, clam. That's a crazy question. I mean, I appreciate it.
What an unusual thing to say. All right, we only got a couple left, so let's get through it.
All right, so Shalom Guy asks, what's a usual day look like for you from waking up to going to bed?
Okay, so first of all, both of us actually answered this one on the Discord channel. If you scroll up a little bit, and I think we had some very good image reactions to this.
True. Yeah. I wake up. I say good morning to the group chat. Turbo wank. Nobody says it back. And then I stare the abyss. I stare right into the abyss for like 12 hours, and then I finally fall asleep.
The answer I gave was 8 a.m. Cup of coffee, and then 9 to 1 p.m. It's just a sad emoji lying on the ground, and then from 2 to 6 it's Final Fantasy 14. And then around 7, it's like another coffee, X.com, the everything app, another emoji, which I can't actually interpret because it's a little low resolution. And then between 8 and 10 p.m., it's Spotify and contemplating killing myself. No, not really. I mean, I guess to answer the question seriously, most days I get up and I will either hang out with some friends on Discord for a bit or just like rot my brain on YouTube for a bit. And then do any chores or like creative work that I need to get done. And then I usually like to take a nap in the afternoon or evening. And then I wake up for dinner, and then I fuck around a bit more, and then I go to bed. So that's about it for me.
Yeah, in a serious answer, all of my days look very different. So I don't really have a routine. It depends on what I need to do that day. So yeah, but I don't wake up very early. And I go to bed fairly late, so and I ain't changing that for nothing, for nobody.
Yeah, we'll see. I might need to get a fucking grocery store part-time job in the new year, and I'm not looking forward to having a real proper set schedule for the first time in like however long it's been since I dropped out of college. So we'll see.
Yeah, sometimes it's helpful.
I do miss having money, so that'd be nice.
Yeah, money's good.
All right, next question. We only got a few left. Pierogi asks, are you a smart feller or a fart smeller?
Well, I'm certainly not a smart feller, so I guess I'm smelling farts.
Yeah, I mean, I know how much time I spend on X.com, the everything app. I'm definitely smelling the farts.
Yeah.
Alrighty.
All right, so Heresy asks, would you rather be stuck in the 40K universe or the Warhammer Fantasy universe? I don't know much about. I don't know enough about either. I'd probably be more apt to be in a fantasy universe than like a dystopian sci-fi universe. Just based on vibes, but I'd have to look into this more.
Yeah, I might disappoint you a little bit, Heresy, because I actually know very little about Warhammer Fantasy in general. I think my answer depends on two things. Like, one, do I get to, like, choose what role I occupy in that universe, or am I just, like, a random fucking place somewhere in there? Because if it's at random, I think I'm going to take my gambling odds on the fantasy one, because I think it's probably not as bad on average. But I think if I get to choose where I live or whatever, I would definitely live in 40K, because it's like, okay, it's like a grim, dark, dystopian sci-fi thing, but like they're very inconsistent with the way they write it, and like there's a lot of very tiny corners of that universe that are actually like not that fucking bad to live in day to day or whatever. Like if you're, I don't know, like the janitor for some space marines or something, it's like, okay, you just like sweep the floor for like 60 decades. Not sick. Well, I don't know. There's ways to keep people alive, but it's like, I don't know. It's not as bad as it looks in a lot of ways. We'll see.
All right, so the next one, this is a Protagon question, or a real hard hitting one. Do it fart?
Oh hell yeah! It fart and it stank.
Same.
Yeah, absolutely. Yep. And
Yeah.
last one. This is from our boy Pierogi. He asks, if you hawk Tua, would you talk Tua? Would we have the Hawk Tua girl on the show?
If that's what this question means,
that's how I interpret it.
Yeah, I would have Hawk Tua girl on the show for sure.
If I'm giving my honest answer, I don't want to talk to her because I think she's vapid, but I would bring her on the show because I think this would be very lucrative for both of us.
No, yeah. Either way, I think we could. I think she's a bit of a tabula rasa. Not for long. She's gonna get pulled into the to the chudosphere very quickly if she hasn't already been.
She's a little bit like Joe Rogan from 10 years ago. I've heard people say that she's like denounced Donald Trump and doesn't like him, but she might otherwise have some kind of like chuddy opinions otherwise. But I don't know.
Yeah. I mean, it like, all it takes is a bunch of people. A bunch of orbiters around you telling you what to think and how to feel, and once you're in a community for a while, your brain gets rotted to the core. I think I could save her. I think
we could both save her. I don't know. Maybe we could. Maybe that's the play here. I think if we did have Hawk Tua girl on the show, I think I would make it a priority to not talk about politics. I think we would have to find something else to talk about. Maybe I would get like a little tipsy or something before recording, so I'm not in my head and like getting too intellectual with it. You know,
I'd be blackout. I'd be blackout. Yeah. So yeah, guys, hit up Hawk Tua girl. And ask her if she wants to be on the show.
Tell her who sent you.
Tell her who sent you for episode 45. Let's get her on.
Yeah, that's 2 weeks from now. Maybe we'll see. We do have no promises yet because I have not reached out to this person yet, but I do have a really big guest that I kind of want to get for our 1 year anniversary. So lips sealed until then. But yeah, we'll see. That is all the questions we've got for today. Guys, thanks so much for dropping a line.
This episode has been way too fucking long. We need to do these more often.
This has been overdue. This has been like at least 3+ months.
But which is to say, thank you everyone for submitting questions. Like I'm not complaining. I'm just saying we need to air out the backlog a little bit more often, especially because some of these are somewhat topical.
Yeah,
But
especially
yeah.
like I think we've been getting a little trickle of new people into the community as well. So I'm gonna say we do have the next couple episodes planned out. So maybe we'll see. I think the next question episode will be like maybe mid late November, maybe something like that. It'll be post election for sure. So we'll see how that
Yeah,
goes.
yeah. I mean, that's possible for sure. But yeah. I mean, for any new people who have listened this late into the episode, please submit your questions. Nothing is off limits. Unless it is, of course, but we're not gonna fault you for that. You're not gonna
If
get
it's all,
bullied.
one person asked something that was a little personal, and I was like, that's a little personal, and they were very cool about it. But it's no big deal, guys. The Discord is free. You don't have to give us money to ask questions. You can just go in there and ask something weird, and we'll answer it.
Yeah, exactly. And I'm a fucking open book, so you ask me anything, I'll give you at least like a 75% honest answer.
Well, as long as it's 100% funny, then that's all we need.
There you
That's
go.
all we're here for.
There you go. Exactly.
Yeah, let's shout out our patrons who make this very possible, and then
Let's
wrap her up.
shout out our Patreons. Yeah. So we got Shalom Guy, Weasel, Nick, Protagon, Clam, Walker, Trash Bins, Dimbus, Braid, Nilly, Heresy, Trevor, Stilson, and Woke Baby. To all of you, sweet, sweet children of God, I thank you profusely from the bottom of my heart and soul for your continued support for this lovely podcast that you find yourself listening to. Love you guys. To those of you who do not support us on the Patreon, God will never forgive you, and you need to rectify that as well. Just kidding. It's fine.
God may
It's
not
fine.
forgive you, but you know what? I will. But also, you know what? We love you guys. Thanks so much for the support. We love seeing you at the sinister $6 tier, and who knows, maybe in the coming episodes we'll thank some of you for supporting Project $20 to
Yeah.
unite America and force fem a couple people and maybe make the world a little bit of a better place.
Fucking A. Yeah, that's you have that within your power, folks. And if you're listening this far in the episode, you're doing great. You're doing great. We love you.
Fuck yeah. All right, that's all we got for this week. We'll be back next week with I think we're doing a bit more of a fun, wholesome sort of topic next week. So look forward to that, especially in these troubled times. Stay safe out there, especially if you are in the Florida area, like more so than usual, you know, Florida being what it is. And I think that's it. So we'll see you next week.
That is it. Fucking A. Good fight, good night.